There is a strong push tonight to include sexual abuse prevention into the classrooms of schools all across New York State. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rod Wood.
And I'm Carrie Lazarus. Erinslaw has already been passed by 2 states, and it's being introduced into the New York State Senate. It would provide age-appropriate curriculum for abuse prevention and training for school personnel.
Our Jeff Kulikowski spoke with the woman the law is named after about her tireless work in support of it.
Growing up, Erin, like most kids her age, was taught fire drills, bus drills, stranger danger, say no to drugs. But the one thing she says she was never taught was how to deal with child abuse. From 6 to 8, a neighbor sexually abused her. And then from ages 11 to 13, it was her cousin who did it.
I was so confused because I knew it felt wrong, but I did not know how to put words or language to what was going on.
Dennis.
Well, societally, child sex abuse has been a taboo topic, but a local lawmaker and a national advocate hope the Sandusky case will help them change that. And things need to change because child sex abuse is a problem well beyond Penn State and its infamous former football coach. Experts call it a hidden epidemic. The numbers are staggering. 1 in 4 girls, 1 in 7 boys will be sexually abused by the age of 18.
The best defense that we can provide our children is knowledge.
State Rep Maury Gingrich's bill would require schools, beginning in kindergarten, to teach kids how to recognize sex abuse and tell someone about it. She knows some parents will be uncomfortable.
All I have to do to move me off the dime to have that conversation is think about some predator rubbing the leg of my granddaughter or my 5-year-old, 6-year-old grandson.
It's called Erinslaw, named after Erin Marin of Illinois, who was abused by a cousin and an acquaintance as a little girl. She kept their secrets
locked away in a little childhood pink diary,
but is now on a mission to help victims find the voice she never could.
They're getting the message from the predators, we keep this a secret. They're not getting the other message, tell, don't keep this a secret.
The bill would require age-appropriate training for K-8 students in both public and private schools. The content would be added to existing and already state-required health classes, so the cost would be minimal. Marin points out the cost of doing nothing, as Penn State proves, could be far greater.
And in the end, this curriculum teaching kids on how to tell, protecting them before they're even abused, will end up saving millions of other children, because as we know, these sexual predators do not stop after abusing one kid. They'll get as many kids as they can possibly get.
In your own backyards. If there are people out there listening to this thinking they cannot relate to this subject, I guarantee you, you know somebody's child, quite possibly a child very close to you, maybe your own, that has been abused.
Wait a second, this is going on across the world.
Sure.
We know the statistics out there. There's 42 million survivors in America alone right now. So I decided to go state by state and will not give up until I get every state to pass this. I have 4 states that have passed it now: Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, and Maine. And next, here we are.
Here we are in
this
Michigan.
Amazing man who's helping me get it passed in Michigan.
And
this Illinois woman, this young woman, not even 30 years old yet, right? No. But in the course of preparing for her wedding, is nonetheless writing books, organizing in the best traditions of Lincoln's democracy, person by person. And that's why we're here today. We're going to sign this law. I think it's so important, Erin, that you are inspiring us. You are our inspiration. Well, Erin, this is your law, and you made it possible with a lot of other people of good faith, men and women all across Illinois.
My innocence was killed, my trust was taken. But I reclaim my voice, and I want every survivor of sexual abuse to do the same.
At the age of 25, Erin proposed a bill requiring schools to educate children about sexual abuse. Erin's law made headlines around the world and has been passed in 5 states. This year, 11 more states will consider legislation.
I will not stop getting this passed in every single state. I don't want another generation, another century of children to not be educated on this very important issue.
And please welcome Erin Marin. Watching that tape, you think, okay, 1 in 4 girls under the age of 18 is sexually abused in this country, but I still have a hard time wrapping my head around it, how this happened to you and your sister. I mean, are people shocked when they hear this story?
They are. People often don't realize that, you know, this is going on behind closed doors. You know, we don't want to look at the issue and realize I could be sexually abused twice by 2 people I trusted. I knew.
You did tell your parents when you were 13 years old what had happened to you in that period of time, but it took you until you were 22 to tell them that when you were 6, 7, 8, the same thing had happened.
I saw how devastated my parents were when they found out my sister and I were being sexually abused by a family member. My mother cried night after night, feeling like she failed as a parent. In my heart, there was no way I could say, Mom, somebody else did this to me. So I kept it a secret, and it wasn't until I was in college, suffered for 4 years with anorexia, finally realized I couldn't protect my parents anymore.
And you had to tell them the truth.
I had to tell them what had happened to me as a child.
And you have become a huge activist for education. Tell me about Erinslaw, what it's designed to do, and how far you've come already.
Erinslaw requires sexual abuse prevention, preschool through 12th grade, requiring that we teach children safe touch, unsafe touch, safe secrets, unsafe secrets, how to get away, how to tell today. The areas that are covered by your, swimsuit, you don't, no one ever touches you there. And my message is we have to protect and give kids a voice. So I decided we need to change. Every state needs this law. And currently I'm going state to state getting this law passed. It's been passed in 5 states. I got 11 more introducing it.
Abuse. One of Sandusky's victims, Erin Fisher, says he would have spoken out sooner if only a law called Erinslaw had been in place, and maybe it could have stopped Sandusky. The inspiration for that law, Erin Marin just wrote this book, An Unimaginable Act, which chronicles her own history of childhood abuse and how her law could stop more. Joining us now is Erin Marin. Great to see you, Erin.
Thanks for having me.
So explain how your law, Erinslaw, which is now in 8 states, could have stopped somebody like Jerry Sandusky.
Well, when you look at the case of Jerry Sandusky, you look at the first boy that was ever abused. He could have spoken up had he had the tools like Erinslaw on safe touch, unsafe touch, safe secrets, unsafe secrets. Taught the same way we teach kids DARE, the 8 ways to say no to drugs, to speak up and tell. Unfortunately, the only message kids get is from the perpetrator. This is our secret, no one will believe you, I'll hurt you. So you have numerous victims because these perpetrators don't stop after one victim.
Of course not.
Exactly.
Of course not. And that was the very case with you. In your case, your book is so compelling yet heartbreaking, An Unimaginable Act, because you detail how, starting at 6 years old, your friend's uncle began sexually abusing you. Why didn't you speak out and tell someone?
The same way Jerry Sandusky's victims did not speak out. I was told, Erin, I know where you live. I'll come get you. No one will believe you. Your parents won't love you if you tell them what I'm doing. All these threats, this brainwashing, kept me silent.
In your Erinslaw, what you recommend is that kids as young as kindergartners all the way through school get help from their public schools explaining what is safe touch, explaining how to go about and reporting unsafe touch. Some people are not comfortable with kindergartners hearing about unsafe touch or sexual abuse. What do you say to them?
I tell every parent, you'll talk to your kids about stranger danger. Don't go look for the lost puppy. Don't take candy from a stranger. 93% of the time, your children are hurt by somebody you love and trust. If you're afraid of this issue, just read the introduction of my 3rd book, and you will see why it is so crucial to talk to kids about this. There's such easy ways to do it. Don't be afraid of it.
What finally got you to break your silence?
What finally got me to break my silence was, unfortunately, finding out that my younger sister was also being abused. And like these perpetrators, they don't stop after one victim. They will abuse as many kids as they possibly can. That's why we have to speak up and talk to children, empowering them, because without it, that 7-year-old that's being raped tonight, she's going to continue to in drug rehab, finally coming to terms with why she turned to drugs, because no one gave her the message like Erinslaw, speak up and tell.
8 states have passed Erin's law. 19 states are still considering it. It is pending there. Do you think someday this will be a nationwide law?
Oh, believe me, it will. I will not stop. Every legislator out there, I'll be pounding on your doors to make this happen. One day you'll see that headline, Erin's law in all 50 states, and then I'm taking it international.
Well, best of luck to you. You have obviously turned a real ordeal into something powerful. The book, again, is an unimaginable act. Great to meet you in person.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure.
It was this letter that finally allowed me to come out of darkness and decide I wanted to be a face and voice on this silent epidemic. We teach kids tornado drills, fire drills, bus drills. We teach them nothing on sexual abuse.
I know.
And that's why I went after a law in the state of Illinois and just recently got it passed by the Senate called Erin's Law. It's a law that will demand education.
Good for you. Today, 3 years later, Erin's Law isn't just in the state of Illinois. It's been passed in 7 other states. But Erin's dream is that one day it will become a national law. She sent us this update from her home near Chicago.
Today, here we are 3 years later, and I've gotten Erin's Law passed in 8 states, and currently it's being introduced in 19 more. The law could have saved me as a child, and it's the reason why I'm so passionate about it. Erin's Law requires age-appropriate sexual abuse curriculum, preschool through 12th grade, teaching kids safe touch, unsafe touch, informing kids on how to speak up and tell if you're being sexually abused. Don't keep this a secret. I didn't realize that this was going to involve standing on Carnegie Hall in front of 3,000 people accepting an award. So literally I'm shaking President Obama's hand and I said, President Obama, my name is Erin. I've gotten a law passed that requires sexual abuse prevention in schools. And my mission is all 50 states. This is not the last time you and I are going to meet. And he goes, that's the attitude to have.
Right now, state lawmakers are hearing a proposal to enact Erin's Law in Rhode Island. The woman who the legislation is named after is testifying tonight, campaigning to establish an age-appropriate course of instruction in schools that would encourage victims of child abuse to speak out. From the Providence Global Newsroom, Eyewitness News reporter Jared Pleiner is live in the capital city.
Mike, Erin Marin is an inspiring, resilient woman who has crisscrossed this country, pushing state legislatures to act, and she is a woman who knows the pain of abuse and the desire to remain silent all too well. The Rhode Island General Assembly, her latest stop. Erin Marin was just 6 years old when she was brutally raped by an adult neighbor, only to be abused again by a family member at the age of 11. She's now 28 and expecting her first child. Marin has spent the last 4 years pushing Erin's Law, which seeks to establish age-appropriate curriculum in grades K through 8, encouraging children to report incidents of trauma to a responsible adult.
The secret's not going to go away. It's just going to continue to fester inside of you. The best thing you can do in your life is break your silence and reclaim your voice. It's the one thing that you can take back.
The Rhode Island General Assembly has adopted Erin's Law. The legislation establishes an age-appropriate course of instruction in schools that would encourage victims of child abuse to speak out. It's already a law in 12 states. It's named for Erin Marin of Illinois, who was sexually abused for years, beginning at the age of 6. She testified at the State House earlier this year.
Signed Erin's Law.
Soon, every school in the state will be required to teach children what sexual abuse is and how to report it. WYFF News 4's Andrea Rodriguez joins us now with the latest. And Angela, you interviewed the woman behind the law?
We were able to FaceTime with her today, and her goal is for all 50 states to pass Erin's Law. And with the governor's signature yesterday, South Carolina became the 18th state to do so.
Erin Marin is no longer a victim. She is a woman on a mission.
And like I said, 90% of these folks and young kids who are abused know their predator.
As I tell parents, your kids are safer talking to the stranger at the bus stop than they often are at the neighbor's house, with the babysitter, with the coach, or unfortunately, like in my case, at Christmas with the family.
Wow. How did you find happiness? You just spoke about your new baby girl, Abigail, who's 9 weeks old or 12 weeks old?
12 weeks old now.
12 weeks old. There you are. You're a new mommy. Congratulations. How did How were you able to find happiness? How were you able to trust men to even get into a relationship?
It took finding, because that was my biggest obstacle in life. It was easier for me to forgive than trust a man. And it was finding that man that had a good, strong Christian faith, the same as me, to be able to realize that this is somebody I can trust. This is somebody that's not going to hurt me or betray me. And him, along with my daughter, has been the best thing that has ever happened in my life.
Right, right. And you have this great book out, The Unimaginable Act. And of course, Erin's Law. Tell folks what Erin's Law is, because you are on a one-woman mission to get it a nationwide pass.
So I resigned from my job 4 years ago, master's level position as a counselor, to pursue Erin's Law. And I got it passed here in Illinois. Governor Quinn signed it in January of 2013. And I've made it my mission to get it passed in all 50 states. I'm traveling capital to capital, testifying to lawmakers to pass this law that requires age-appropriate sexual abuse curriculum taught to kids preschool to 12th grade on personal body safety. You don't keep this a secret, how to report it. And like I said, 19 states have passed it, 18 more are pending, and my mission is all 50 states. I tell these legislators, I'm not going away.